Hi everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Cozy Up for English. In today's lesson, we will be looking at the proper way to talk about things you did over the weekend. But before we do anything else, don't forget to cozy up so we can get started. Now here we go. The first thing you have to keep in mind when you want to discuss events or actions that took place over the weekend is the verb tense called the simple past. In today's lesson, we will be looking at the general structure of this verb tense, which means that we will be focusing on regular verbs conjugated in this verb tense. Regular verbs are verbs that are conjugated based on the general rule of a verb tense. In the simple past, that rule would be adding ed to the end of your verb. For example, if we take the verb to play, if we want to conjugate this verb in the simple past tense, all we have to do is add ed to the end of it, and we have successfully conjugated our first verb in the simple past tense. Now, what's really fun with the simple past is that once you have this rule down, it is the same conjugation for every single pronoun in the simple past tense, which means that the verb to play would become I played, you played, he, she, and it played, we played, you played, and they played. As you can see, once you've understood the general rule for this verb tense, you can apply that ending to any pronoun and to any subject, and you're properly conjugating your verb in the simple past tense. So now that we've looked at the general rule for this verb tense, let's look at some examples of things that you may have done over the weekend using the simple past tense. As a first example, you could say something like, last weekend I visited with a friend of mine. And by adding that ed, you're properly conjugating your verb in the simple past tense, which reflects to your listener that this event took place in the past, and it is no longer connected to the present moment. Another example could be, over the weekend, I relaxed with my partner. And again, by simply adding that ed, you're reflecting to your listener that this event took place in a past moment disconnected from the present time. And finally, let's just look at different examples with different pronouns so that you can see how this verb tense works with different subjects. For example, over the weekend, they traveled out of town. Or you could say something like, over the weekend, we attended a party. And in all of these examples, what you can notice is that all we're doing is adding the ed ending to our original infinitive verb, and by doing so, we're properly conjugating our verbs in the simple past tense. And so if you keep in mind that by using the simple past tense, what you're reflecting to your listener is that you're talking about an event or an action that took place in the past and is no longer taking place in the present, you'll be just fine in any English-speaking environment where you're asked, what did you do last weekend? And so that was it for today. I hope you found this video clear and easy to follow, and if you liked it, feel free to click the like button below and subscribe to my channel. That way you'll get notified every time I post something new. And as always, if you have any questions about this verb tense or any other verb tense for that matter, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. It'll be my pleasure to read them and try to include the answer in a future video. And so until next class, have a wonderful week.